like a Tomb Warden. Marvellous, it goes with that taunt thing I was talking about. A 8 mana 3/6 taunt, you may think that that's terrible, but this summons a copy of itself when you play it, including any buffs that it has. Imagine playing 8 mana 2/5/8 taunts, or 8 mana 2/7/10 taunts for 8. That would be monstrously impressive, and the more buffs you can provide, the tougher these minions become. And if you have a way to double battle cries, like say in Wild with Bran Bronzebeard, that makes a really big board. There's another Mermy, another Hunter's Pack, another Candle Taker, and a Temple Berserker. 2 mana 1/2 neutral, reborn, has 2 attack when damaged. So this means that this minion will come back when reborn as a 2 mana 3/1. Which gives it that little extra punch, and if you can get it damaged before you attack the first time, that's a lot of damage to begin with. This thing can surprise you, like it's doing right there, bursting out of its sarcophagus. Let's see some more cards, more mysteries uncovered. Like another Sandstorm Elemental. Another Into the Fray, very happy to see that. Another Evil Totem, very happy to see that. A Desert Spear. This is a 1/3 weapon for 3, and I know what you're thinking, that's a terrible weapon for the cost. But every time you attack, you summon a 1/1 Locust with Rush. We have seen a similar kind of weapon with the Piranha Launcher, also for the Hunter, but those Piranhas didn't have Rush, whereas the Locusts do. Having Rush means that they are far more proactive. That's always good. And there's another Armored Goon. We have 2 of them. What else will we find? Another Sand Trooper. Another Scimitar, we have 2 of them now. A Hyena Alpha. I'm glad I got one of these, because this is a pretty strong minion. A 4 mana 3/3, but if you control a secret when you play it, you summon 2 2/2 hyenas, which gives you 4/4 in the hyenas and 3/3 with the alpha, 7/7 of stats spread over 3 minions for 4 mana. Remember when 7/7s were 4 mana and it was 1 minion? And it was Shaman? There are quite a few things that do this now, and having it spread over multiple minions makes it that much harder to deal with them. This is a strong minion and I expect it to be played a lot. Another Expedition, and another Mermy. Another Bug Collector. A Golden Into the Fray. Look at how shiny and spiffy it is. He is shouting a command, it's basically, buff things, and then they were buffed. We have a Plague of Flames, the first Plague card that we have uncovered. The League of E.V.I.L have access to the Plagues, and this Warlock one has one purpose, and that is to deal with really expensive minions on your opponent's side. If you have a board full of imps, and they have a board full of, say, giants and massive minions, your minions are sacrificed to kill their minions at a 1-to-1 exchange rate, which is really good. Your full board of rubbish can deal with their full board of awesome. Note that it won't deal with the death rattle minions that emerge afterwards, but it's really good, especially with it being 1 mana. Here is a Mischief Maker. Look! The picture's reenacting a movie scene. Bet you can't guess which one. You swap the top card of your deck with your opponent's, and I'm glad I got this one, because this may fit in really well to my Priest Reno card-stealing tech deck. Now you may swap away one of your really useful cards to your opponent, but it might not be really useful for them, and you may take a card from them that's completely useless to you, but it may be really useful for them. The dream is that you give them something that's rubbish, and you take from them something that's both useful to you and critical for them. You can really screw up combos with this, but you don't know what you've given away until they play it, and you only know what you've taken from them on your next turn, or when you draw a card. It's risky, but it can be worth it, especially if you cause lots of mischief and mayhem! Here is a Desert Hare, 3 mana 1/1, it's a beast and it summons 2 1/1 Desert Hares. If you can find a way to get these back into your hand, you can make lots and lots of Desert Hares, otherwise it's just a cheap way to flood the board with some very low cost minions. We have a Generous Mummy, a 3 mana 5/4. I know what you're thinking, that's a good stat line. It is, and it's reborn. Unfortunately, your opponent's cards cost 1 less whenever this thing is around, and that is bad. Your opponent doesn't have to play many cards at a reduced cost to gain on your stat gain that you have on this minion. This is a really dangerous thing to play. You have to make sure that your opponent can't take advantage of this ability. If they do too much, it's really not worth it. Another Fish Flinger, another Wasteland Assassin, a Golden Injured Tolvir, pretty nifty. Look, arrows are raining down, that's gotta hurt. And another Sand Wasp Queen. Let's get another one open. Let's find another legendary, everyone. Here is a Spitting Camel, a 2 mana 2/4. Slightly higher stats than you're expecting, but at the end of your turn, you deal 1 damage to another random friendly minion. That could actually be useful if your minion has a positive benefit from being damaged, like an Acolyte of Pain, or a minion that gets plus attack when they're damaged. Keep that in mind. But also consider that this minion, when there's no other minion on the board, that +1 health can make a big difference. An Ancestral Guardian, 4 mana 4/2, Lifesteal Reborn. Not much to say really, it's a good way of gaining health if your opponent has to trade into it. If they don't, by using say spells, this minion really doesn't do very much. Be careful of a mage using say Frostbolt and then pinging it. They may have traded in 4 mana, but they only used a 2 mana spell and you gained no health. Here is another Sandwich. I could go for a sandwich right now. Cheese and ham. There's a Mermy. And a Beaming Sidekick. Now this card came out of nowhere. It's a really powerful card. You may think, +2 health is not a very powerful ability, but it really is. Consider this to be a 1 mana 1/4 when there's another minion on the board. That's a lot of stats for 1 mana. I don't think there's a minion that has the same amount of stats at all as 1 mana. I don't think anything else compares. The conditional of there being another minion, easy to achieve if you're playing a zoo-like deck that has loads of low-cost cards. So, don't underestimate this. Another sinister deal? A Subdue. There is a 5 mana Paladin spell right now that reduces all minions' attack and health to 1. This is the 2 mana mini equivalent that does it to 1 minion. Do you really want 1 thing to be killed by your Silverhand recruit? If so, this is the card to do it with. It's not bad. It being so low cost means that you can use it alongside other things, and it's another way to get rid of those pesky big minions, like giants. Plague of Wrath. Destroy all damaged minions. It's sort of like another spell that we've seen in the past, a 3 mana warrior spell that dealt 3 damage to all damaged minions. This just destroys them. You could combo this with a Whirlwind and clear the entire board, but you would need 2 cards for that and it would cost more mana. But it's another tool in the warrior's arsenal that allows them to get rid of pesky minions. Another Armored Goon, and another Pit Crocolisk. Nice to have that big minion. Another Flak Mage, awesome. Another Sapper, not bad. Ooh, this pack's turning out to be good. Here is the Splitting Axe, which summons copies of your totems. 4 mana 3/2, not a bad statted weapon. If you hit some normal totems, that's not too bad. If you manage to hit, say, the evil totem with that, That's really good. It all depends on how strong your totems are, and there are a few things in this expansion that help your totems become more dangerous. So don't underestimate this axe, it might be more powerful than you think. Here is a Subdue, and another injured Tolvir. Let's move on to the next one. And find another Water Bearer, another Elemental, another into the fray. We have a lot of those, more than I need, and here is a Quicksand Elemental. 2 mana 3/2, give all enemy minions -2 attack this turn. This is a really good effect if you want to make some really good trades and keep your minions alive. Even if you don't get the effect off, it's still a 2 mana 3/2, and it's an elemental, so you could discover it with certain cards, and it does synergize with elemental synergy. Pretty decent. And here is an embalming ritual. Give a minion reborn. Do you want a minion to come back? This is how you do it, and there are some minions that can really benefit from being brought back. Anything with a good death rattle, anything that has an ability like Divine Shield, really good to return. And for 1 mana, it's a good deal. Another Samwas Queen, a Pressure Plate, an Expired Merchant for Warlock. It discards your highest cost card and adds 2 copies of it to your hand. This can be really useful if you have a really powerful high cost minion. You're really sad if this gets silenced though, or polymorphed, or turned into a frog, or stolen. If this gets stolen, you are really sad. I wonder if it gets stolen if it remembers what minion was discarded and then it gives your opponent those 2 cards. Something to check in the future, but it is a kind of loot hoarder, except you need something in your hand to make it so that you get something back. And it is something that you put into your deck, so you'll probably have a use for it. Just be careful that this could be disappointing, especially if you have it stolen from you. Another evil totem, and another desert hare. No more legendaries yet. I hope for at least, I know I'm going to get at least 1 more. Let's hope we get 2. A Mermy, another Flak Mage, that's really useful. Another Scarab, a Phalanx Commander. Your taunt minions have +2 attack. For a 5 mana 4/5, that is a really good card to play on a board full of taunts, and with the Taunt Warrior that I'm thinking of making, this might be a good addition. Not bad. And a Vile Fiend. It's a 2 mana 2/2 with lifesteal. It's also a demon. That is an important thing that some people may disregard. There is demon synergy to be had with that, some may not consider. Now moving on, and into the last 30 packs. There's a Grand Mummy for Priest. 2 mana 1/2 reborn, death rattle, give a random friendly minion +1/+1. Is this the start of a Zoo Priest? It might be. That +2/+2 over 2 deaths of this minion, that's pretty good. It being a 1/2 is not great, but if it was a 2/2 this would be far too strong. A Sinister Deal, an Infested Goblin, that makes 2, another Jar Dealer, and another Hooked Scimitar. Another Subdue, another Salhead's Pride, we're getting a lot of them, another Hunter's Pack, a Rift Cleaver, aha! This is an epic card with an epically powerful effect. 6 mana 7/5, destroy a minion. Your hero takes damage equal to its health. Consider this an alternative to the 6 mana removal that we all know from Warlock, that destroys a minion and gives you health. Instead, you are losing health equal to the minion's health that you destroy, but you're also getting a 7/5 out of it. That's really good, because this is removal that bypasses things like Counterspell. Unfortunately, it's removal that doesn't bypass things like Mirror Entity. So be careful with that. Also, watch out for just killing yourself with the Rift Cleaver. I imagine it's going to happen at least once. And there is another Subdue. We have a lot of those. Another Sandstorm Elemental. Another Phalanx Commander. A legendary! Haha! Here is Octosari, an 8-mana 8/8 that when it dies draws you 8 cards. Have you ever seen a giant desert octopus? No? Well, you have now, and it's brilliant at drawing you cards. If this minion gets silenced, you're not even that sad, because it's still an 8-mana 8/8. You're of course a little bit more sad if it gets turned into a frog. But if you don't have any cards in your hand and this dies with the death rattle, my, do you suddenly fuel up. This is also a great way to kill yourself in fatigue. Drawing 8 fatigue cards is a fine way to reduce your health down to 0. So always keep in mind how many cards you have left in your deck when you play this. Still, it's a neutral and great for card draw, provided it doesn't get silenced or turned into a sheep. Another sandwich, and another evil totem. Really could go for a sandwich now. Curse you, 5-mana minion! We have a Cloud Prince, another Rift Cleaver, very nice, another Ancient Mysteries, another Hunter's Pack, and a Neverset Ritualist, a 2-mana 2/3 Battle Cry, restore adjacent minions to full health. This is really good for reborn minions that come back with 1 health. Kapow! They're now at full health. And it's generally useful for things with a lot of health that take a lot of damage. And for 2 mana, and it being a 2/3, it's a really versatile minion, low cost, which means you can play it with other things, and even if you don't get off the effect, you're not upset because you did get a 2/3. Don't underestimate that one. We have another Hooked Scimitar, another Wasteland Assassin, another Water Bearer, another Frightened Flunky, and another Infested Goblin. We have 24 more packs remaining. We may see another legendary. I hope to. Another Ancestral Guardian, another Water Bearer, another sandwich. The game is telling me to have a sandwich. Stop it, game. It's early in the day. I can't have a sandwich right now. I could, but I'm not going to. Another Desert Spear, nice to see. An Evil Totem, we'll add that to the pile. And we'll add that expedition to all the other ones we completed. A Dune Sculptor for Mage. After you cast the spell, add a random mage minion to your hand. Random mage minions can be quite nice, but this really fits in to a one-of mage deck, because mage, paladin, hunter, and druid all have the one-of mechanic with their non-quest legendary. And having a Dune Sculptor means that you can get more of those minions that you need to survive. I expect this to see a little bit of play. Whether it will see lots of play remains to be seen. And here is a Golden Restless Mummy. My, that mummy is not happy. Not happy at all. We have another Injured Tolvir. We have a Diseased Vulture for Warlock. After your hero takes damage on your turn, summon a random 3-cost minion. And with this being a 4-mana 3/5, you can make some nasty combos with this. Play the Diseased Vulture, play a 3/2 Flame Imp, it deals damage to you, you get a 3-cost minion. One of those minions, amusingly, can be an Alarmobot, which means that you can inadvertently draw out a really high-cost minion. Though this is likely to take a slot in Zoo Warlock, where it will give you loads and loads of fuel, provided you can keep damaging yourself, including hero powering. Keep that in mind. Another Beaming Sidekick, I'm glad to see you. Another Garden Gnome, you'll be disenchanted. And another Ramuken Wild Tamer, that makes 2 of them. Glad to see that I have 2. Another Epic, another Splitting Axe. Marvellous. Maybe I'll make a Wild Totem Shaman with this. Maybe. A Wasteland Scorpion, that makes 2. Another Sand Trooper. Another Crocolisk. and a questing explorer. This is the card that makes your quest extremely useful. You play the quest on turn 1, you play a 2-3 on turn 2, and you draw a card. If you have the warlock quest like I do, this not only gets you a card, it also gets you one step closer to completing your quest. It's a really well-statted minion, especially if you have a quest going, and this does work with the previous quests as well in Wild. A really good minion. A golden questing explorer. Marvellous. You're going to go with the other one. There's a mermaid. Another epic. This is a Tortolan pilgrim, and I'm happy to see you. Discover a copy of a spell in your deck and cast it with random targets. They're not so random if the spell cannot be random, like Flame Strike for instance. An 8 mana 5/5 that casts Flame Strike is pretty powerful. You could also play the puzzle box of Yogg-Saron with this, and my would that be a dangerous thing to do. But you could. I expect this to see quite a bit of play, especially with things like Blizzard, Flame Strike. Not Pyroblast though, that could just hit you in the face. But I'm glad to have one. 2 mermaids there. As we get further into this pile, we start seeing more minions we've seen before. Like that Sapper. And that Sidekick, and that Worthy Expedition, and that Scarab, and that Hooked Scimitar. We've seen all of them before, so let's move on to the next pack. This one's surely going to be better, right? Well, there's a Mogu Flesh Shaper. We haven't seen you before. A 7 mana 3/4 with Rush, and it costs 1 less for each minion on the battlefield. If your side of the board is almost full, that is going to be a 1 cost 3/4 with Rush. And consider it's 7 mana. You could use the Mutate 0 mana spell on it and make it into an 8 mana minion when you've attacked with it. It's nice to play on a board full of things just to deal with one target, but when you can make it into a different, more expensive minion afterwards, it's even better. Another Hunter's Pack, another Scarab, another Rift Cleaver. We don't need 3, but I'll take the dust. And let's move on to the next one. Another Tomb Warden. Excellent, I'm glad to see that I have 2 of you. Another Wasp Queen, another Flunky, another Evil Totem, another Vile Fiend. That makes 2 Vile Fiends, I believe. Another Ancient Mysteries, glad that I have 2 of them. I may have more than 2 now. A Wretched Reclaimer for Priest. 3 mana 3/3, destroy a friendly minion, then return it to life with full health. This works with a number of things. It works great with death rattle effects. It works great with reborn minions that haven't died yet. It also works great with minions that are already injured. You could deal some damage with that injured Blade Master, killing, say, a 2-attack minion, then you kill it, and bring it back as a 4/7. The health damage doesn't exist when it's brought back without the battle cry after all. Very versatile, and it's a 3 mana 3/3 if you play it with nothing to target. A Candle Taker, a Serpent Egg, and another Salhead's Pride. It's like the game's telling me, hey, you mentioned that Twilight Drake thing, why didn't you give it a go? Here's a billion Salhead Prides. More bees? That is the second pile of bees. I know it's not a pile of bees, it's a swarm. But I find the concept of a pile of bees to be amusing, even if it's incorrect. And there is a golden Evil Totem. Look at how shiny it is. And there is another Wrapped Golem. We have another Sand Trooper, another Ancient Mysteries, another Restless Mummy, a Holy Ripple. Deal 1 damage to all enemies, restore 1 health to all friendly characters. It's like a mini Holy Nova. It's good with spell damage though. That could be a 2 mana deal 2 and heal 2. And that rhymed! I'm a poet, and the priest did not know it. And another Candle Taker. We We have a Hidden Oasis. Druid 6 mana spell, choose one, summon a 6/6 ancient with taunt or restore 12 health. Both options aren't too bad, but when you've completed the Druid quest and you can use both of them, that becomes 6 mana, 6/6 ancient that restores 12 health, and that is awesome. It's just a really versatile card, albeit one where you don't get a really great taunt for the cost. But sometimes a 6/6 with taunt is all you need. Another Cloud Prince, another Flame Ward, another Ancestral Guardian, another Restless Mummy. Let's get another one. We don't have many more packs. We're running out. An Oasis Surger, nice to see. Another Serpent Egg. A Weaponized Wasp, a 3 mana 3/3 beast, and if you control a lackey, which Shamans probably will, you deal 3 damage. That is a really powerful effect. Also, look at that serpent-shaped zappy gun! Pew pew! Who wouldn't want a wasp that pew-pews things with lightning? There are probably quite a few people. I know one! He hates wasps. Ancient Mysteries. And another Sand Trooper. I really could just start my own Sand Trooper Legion at this point. Another Wrapped Golem. Another Water Bearer. Another Scorpid. A second Embalming Ritual. And another Scorpid. It's like, hey, do you want more Scorpids? And I'm like, not really, I've got enough. Too bad, have more. A Neverset Thrasher. A Conjure Mirage, that makes 2. Another Armored Goon, another Egg, and another Sand Trooper! That is definitely this expansion's you have a billion of them card.
Golden Comet.
A Golden Bug Collector! Look, he's so happy that he has that one! You really should pay attention to all the other ones around you that are probably going to kill you. You're not going to, are you? A second Plague of Flames, not bad. A Frightened Flunky, another Worthy Expedition, and a second Mischief Maker. Out of all the epics I could have got, I'm glad I have 2 of you. I'm gonna have fun with that one. Another Clever Disguise, a Vile Fiend, another Wrapped Golem, another Temple Berserker, and another Injured Tol'vir. We have less than 10. Our chances of getting a legendary are growing dim. An Imp Balming. I see what you did there, card name. Think of it as an assassinate, except you shuffle 3 worthless imps into your deck. And I know what you're thinking, that's terrible. It is, unless you have something that can transform those imps into something a lot better. Like, say, Rafaam from the Rise of Shadows expansion, which turns all of your cards into legendaries. Or, if you have the Plague of Flames, where you can use all those imps to get rid of tougher minions. But you still need to draw them, and you don't want to be drawing a 1/1 imp for 1. Probably not going to see much play. Another Salhet's Pride, another Wasteland Assassin, Subdue, and a second Subdue to go on the pile of Subdues. I have quite a few piles of commons. Another Hunter's Pack, another Hooked Scimitar, another Infested Goblin, another Thrasher, and another Crocolisk. Down to the last 5, everyone. Another Spitting Camel, I think that makes 2. Another Ancient Mysteries, another Sandwasp Queen. Overflow. Ah, this card. Restore 5 health to all characters, draw 5 cards for 7 mana. 7 mana, draw 5 is ridiculous, and if your opponent has minions that are all at full health and has barely lost any damage, this is a card with practically no downside. And even if you heal some of their minions, drawing 5 cards is absurd. Do you all remember how powerful Ultimate Infestation was? Well, this doesn't give you the 5/5 and the 5 armor and the 5 damage, but it does give you the cards, and the downside, as I said, can be really small, if you time the card right. And another Hunter's Pack. Let's go. The next one. There aren't many left. We get another Vile Fiend, another Thrasher, another Scorpid, another Clever Disguise, and another Sapper. Nothing we haven't seen before. another assassin, another goon, another phalanx commander, another living monument, and a second expired merchant. I believe we only had one. That's not a bad thing to see. 2 more packs. Will one of them have a legendary? Odds aren't in our favour. We've seen a Desert Spear before. Having another Tomb Uldum, it's nice to know that the game was definitely going to give me at least 2. Now I have 3. Another Cloud Prince beaming sidekick, and I think that is our second Pharaoh cat. And finally, the last pack. We have a Water Bearer. We have a Live Wire Lance for Warrior, a 3-mana 2/2 weapon, and after your hero attacks, you add a lackey to your hand. Do you want more lackey mechanics? You can have them right here, and if you keep buffing the durability of that weapon, you can keep getting more lackeys. And we all know how powerful lackeys are. Not bad. And here is Totemic Surge. Do you remember the 0-mana spell that's been around forever for shamans that gives your totems +2 health that nobody plays? Well, here's one that suddenly makes your totems a lot more dangerous. +2 attack is really good. For all minions, if they're totems, is also really good. And with it being 0 mana, you can just surprise someone with, by the way, I have a board full of rubbish that can kill you! Combine this with Bloodlust, okay, I'm really thinking about the perfect situation here, and you have 2 cards, 5 mana, 5 extra damage per totem. And that is a lot. And there is no legendary here. There's just a Frightened Flunky, and I was half expecting there to be another Sand Trooper. But we're done with the Saviors of Uldum packs. Let's have a look and see how many cards we have. That's how many we pulled out. And let's look at how many duplicates we have. We have a lot. 112 commons, 16 rares, and 1 epic. And that equals 980 dust. Unfortunately, we only got 2 legendaries from the packs that I opened, which is the minimum that I could have got. But I'll probably get another legendary quite soon when I start opening up more packs. And so, that was me opening up every single Saviors of Uldum pack that I'd saved up gold for, as well as a few that I had from various promotions beforehand. I have quite a few of the cards for Druid. I don't have many of the rares. We have quite a few Hunter cards here. I have 1 of the epics, which is nice, and a few rares. With Mage, I have quite a lot of things, and I'm very glad about the sheer quantity of things I got for this one. This will hopefully augment my Wild It's a Secret Mage. For Paladin, I have all of these here. We got loads and loads of Salhet's Prides. Didn't really get many of the rares apart from that, and no epics. We have a few things here in Priest. No epics there, sadly. With Rogue, we really didn't get that much variety. We only got these 3 commons in various quantities and 1 rare. Shaman, we got quite a few things, including 2 copies of the Splitting Axe, which I'm not going to say no to. Then we have Warlock. We got quite a lot of things for Warlock, and that is not something that I got in this expansion. That is something that I got from the Firefest E.V.I.L. But we do have Supreme Archaeology. Archaeology is the discovery of rare and powerful artifacts. Supreme Archaeology is taking them! That is a very Rafaam thing. We also got that Rift Cleaver. We got lots of things here in Warlock. And we got lots of things in Warrior as well, including Armageddillo. And minions over here too. I'll probably be building something with Warrior. And finally, we got all of these neutral cards. I don't know why that's being considered as a new card. You're not a new card. I've had you for a while. Oh! I know why that's a new card. I think I opened that at the start of the month with my chest that you get for winning 5 matches in Ranked. We got all of these, and we only have 2 of you right now, but my did we get a lot of you. Stay while. Take Candle. I see what you're doing there, game. I see what you're doing. We have all of these as well, including the Mischief Maker. And all of these. And finally, all of these including Octosari. 8 arms of sand-flinging, foe-wringling, card-slinging fury. I'm definitely going to see if I can build a deck with you. It's going to be a silly one, but I'm sure I'll manage it. And that was me opening packs with all the gold that I've saved up. And when we come back, folks, I'll have built at least one deck. I may have augmented a deck that I've already got, or made something completely new. Who's to say, eh? That idea may take hold and refuse to leave until I have created it. This may mean that I'll have to craft a couple of cards. Epics, rares, maybe a legendary or two. And let's hope that I can build something that is mighty and unstoppable. And if I can't do that, I hope to build something that's at least fun. That is the important thing. The deck has got to be fun for me to play. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. If I had fun doing so, that is the important part. And so, I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later.